and it's stretching out. And you're stretching that stomach. Now all of a sudden, your abdominal wall is sticking out like you're 9 months pregnant. Why do you think the bodybuilders from the 70s and 80s were so good with their midsections? Because 60s, 70s, 80s, because they used to train their abs all the time.
Training abs, body weight or with weight?
Both. Yeah. So again, talked about this, but it's been a while. So you need to be able to build your abs to be able to get them to pop. So use either your own body weight for tension, or you might be able to do crunches using a machine or using the ropes to be able to create tension. But if you have a tendency for your obliques to grow, you have to really, really be mindful so that your obliques don't kick in, because if they do, they can actually widen your waist, especially if you go with really heavy weight. So make sure that if you have the tendency to have big obliques, you minimize additional resistance. Use only body weight, use crunches, use certain exercises that are not going to kick in those obliques so much. So therefore, they're not going to grow. But if you're using a ton of weight, if you're going to end up taking a dumbbell and you're doing side bends with a 50-pound dumbbell, and you're like, I don't know why my waist isn't getting any smaller. Come on, use a little common sense. Do not use heavy weights for abdominals, especially if you have obliques that tend to kick in and grow. And that even goes with lifts. If you do one arm dumbbell rows really, really heavy and your obliques tend to kick in, that can make your obliques grow. Be careful. If you do heavy squats and you have a core that's getting bigger, that's why powerlifters have thick cores. Because they have to pick up heavy ass weight.
Bracing their core constantly.
Exactly. So that's not going to make your waist any bigger. I was talking about that back in the day, since men's physique started. I had my athletes turn around and not go super heavy. You didn't need to go 4 or 5 plates on your squats. You didn't need to do 400 or 500 pound deadlifts, because the core strength is going to eventually kick in and your core is going to grow. But if you can bracket off 20, 25%, do more reps, not only are you going to be able to grow with all those ancillary muscles, but you're going to be able to have your stabilizing muscles not grow or not grow as much. So you have to do that. But again, if you genetically have a really small waist, you're less likely for that to happen anyways. If you genetically have a bigger waist, or you come from a powerlifting background, then you have ability to make sure that your waist is going to continue to grow, because that's what it's done to be able to stabilize that crazy weight that you lifted.
So what if we flip that? Any ways of making your waist smaller?
Yes. Eat less. Okay. Don't do those crazy heavy weights if that's what you were doing. 600 pound deadlifts, 700 pound squats, doing all of those things that are going to get your core kicking. Cut those back. Do more reps. It's going to help you grow anyways. There's some FSC7 workouts in there that's going to help the muscle belly get rounder and fuller. Then by the lighter weight, those ancillary muscles and the stabilizing muscles will not kick in as much. And then also, don't put so much food and volume in your stomach. So many people make a mistake of adding a ton of this with their food, and then they want to know, well, I'm not taking insulin. Why is my stomach so big? Well, it's because you're putting too much food at once. And then you're also adding too much liquid at once. And it's stretching out. And you're stretching that stomach. Now all of a sudden, your abdominal wall is sticking out like you're 9 months pregnant. Cut back the food, dude. Cut back the fluid when you're eating. Because it's volume. That added volume is going to stretch your stomach.
Do things like vacuums and things help to bring your waist in?
Absolutely. Why do you think the bodybuilders from the 70s and 80s were so good with their midsections? Because 60s, 70s, 80s, because they used to train their abs all the time. Modern day bodybuilders are freaking lazy. They don't want to train their abs. It's like homework that they didn't want to do in the class that they hated the most.
That and calves.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the guys that have the best calves don't train calves because they're genetically gifted. Ask Kuklo.
Oh my gosh, yeah, he's got.
Okay, I bring up Kuklo because he's in our backyard.
Yeah, ridiculous calves.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where these guys that have amazing calves, they don't barely train them because they're just genetically gifted. Hottie, he trains the shit out of his calves because he had to get them to grow because he's just not genetically gifted with them.
You were saying, because Derek's got some big old calves, but you were saying that they were not always that way.
No.
Yeah.
Derek's legs and his calves were not big. Yeah, they're just growing now because we really emphasized the crap out of them. But his legs and his calves weren't good.
Yeah, that's an easy. People are like, oh, well, I just genetically don't have.
I still don't think his calves are that great. I think they're getting better. But again, I'm a little different
Yeah,
in terms
you know,
of my
you gotta
scales
get it
because
yeah.
I'm just I have some very high expectations, but
Yeah.
that's just because I'm wired different.